Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Minecraft, starting with the Awakening Block Puppet Master. Chapter 31. The Piglin Fortress was very large, but there were very few people. Apart from a few Piglin barbarians guarding the door, Jishin never saw any other servants. As an emperor, not to mention having 3 palaces, 6 courtyards, and 3,000 beauties, someone must take care of the food and daily life. However, the Piglin King had none of these, which made Jishin become interested in this opponent. Is he a clean, independent and self-reliant monarch? Jishin thought secretly. He just looked at the other person's living environment and made a rough analysis of the Pig Spirit King's character and pig character. If this is really the case, since he has come to negotiate the alliance, it seems that he has a high chance of success. Following the Piglin siblings as they continued walking forward for half an hour, they saw a throne in the distance. Sitting on the throne was the real owner of the Piglin world, the King of Piglins. But what Jishin didn't expect was that the Piglin King was completely different from what he imagined. The other party was very fat, with his entire body occupying almost half of the wall. His huge golden armor could not cover his fat belly. The flesh on his face had long since broken away from the support of the muscles and was hanging down lifelessly. Not only was there mud everywhere on his body, but there was also some oil on the corners of his mouth. He was completely different from those kings who were not angry and showed infinite majesty in every move. Jishin covered his mouth and nose, swallowed, and couldn't help but take a step back. Then the pungent stench began to attack all his senses. Especially my eyes, which were so hot that I couldn't open them. Good guy. No wonder there are not many maids in the castle to serve him. It's probably because no one dares to get within 10 steps of the King of Piglins. Jishin was secretly frightened. The image of the virtuous monarch that he analyzed just now collapsed instantly. The King of Piglins looked like a fat old man. If it weren't for the golden crown on his head, he would have suspected that he had just jumped out of the trash can. However, Xiao Yan and Xiao Zhan didn't notice anything unusual and just walked forward. They were originally from the Piglin clan, and had lived here for a long time. They were completely immune to the smell. Protective shield formed around the King of Piglins, and there was no pressure to walk in front. This hurt Jishin, who was following behind, and even made him doubt whether establishing an alliance with the Piglins was the right choice. The younger brother, the Pig Spirit, trotted to his father's side, stretched out his legs and jumped into the Pig Spirit King's arms. He nuzzled the Pig Spirit King's cheek very obediently and said happily, "Dad, I brought you a businessman from the upper world. He has a very delicious food in his hand. How about we buy some from him?" "Well, Xiaoji is really awesome. Whatever you want, Daddy will buy it for you." The Pig Spirit King looked at the child who was as big as his palm, his eyes full of love. My sister, Xiao Yan, was standing next to her father. She didn't get into her father's arms like Xiao Zhan did. I don't know if it was because Jishin was present and she was embarrassed. Jishin, merchant from the upper realm, pays homage to the Pig Spirit King. Jishin was neither humble nor overbearing, and took the initiative to follow Xiao Zhang's words. Silent. The Piglin King did not answer Jishin's words and kept teasing his son, without even looking at him, as if Jishin did not exist. How could a person who could be the leader of a clan not have some means and scheming? He could see at a glance that Jishin was not as simple as trading, but that the alliance meant more. Jishin narrowed his eyes and was not angry even if the other party ignored him. Although the King of Piglins didn't say anything to Jishin, everything had already been made clear. The last words he said to Xiaojian were actually meant for Jishin, and coupled with the silence that followed, the meaning couldn't be clearer. Code word. What benefits can an alliance with you bring to our tribe? Jishin is also a good person, so he naturally understands the meaning. Next, he only had a chance to say one sentence, and he had to use one sentence to arouse the interest of the Piglin King, otherwise this lower realm ally would be regarded as a loser. After thinking for a few seconds, he said, Jishin, a merchant from the upper realm, pays homage to the lord of the lower realm, the Pig Spirit King. Jishin added 4 more words to his introduction, Lord of the lower realm. No one doesn't like to hear good words, which can also be regarded as a kind of promise. Obviously, this is Jishin Pua's routine of drawing a pie. As long as the pie is big enough, it is good to let the other party smell the fragrance. But how could the already mature Pig Spirit King be fooled so easily? Lord of the lower world. The Piglin King's teasing hand suddenly stopped, his fat head turned to look at Ji Shin, and he continued with a hint of smile in his voice. Just you. The next moment, the fat body of the Piglin King suddenly jumped up high and punched Ji Shin. Although the opponent is fat, it does not affect his speed at all. The wind of the fist roars, with great momentum, and everything can be hit with one punch. Ji Shin frowned, without any panic. The other party didn't really want to kill him, but was trying to verify his strength and how much weight he had in saying, Lord of the lower world. Several obsidian stones were spinning wildly in his hand, and with a wave of his hand, an obsidian wall appeared in front of him, just in time to collide with the Piglin King's fist. Boom! A shock wave exploded instantly, sending the pig spirit Xiaoyan flying away. She didn't understand what was going on at all, so why did they start a fight even after a disagreement? The King of Piglins showed his yellow teeth and smiled again. What a reaction! Come again. After falling alive, he hit another powerful punch, cracking the obsidian stone he hit. If it were any other block, the Piglin King's punch would definitely be shattered by the hammer. Ji Shin was secretly shocked. The other party was indeed no ordinary person. This ally was his own. A faint white light lit up in his eyes, and the surrounding nether bricks and hell rocks began to tremble. The next moment, the Piglin King's fist suddenly stopped, and several stone pillars had locked his arms firmly. The power of Godhead. The Piglin King's eyes widened at this moment. He did not expect that this foreign boy could mobilize the power of his Godhead for defense. Ji Shin's ability to control the use of cubes at will is exactly what the Pig King calls the power of the Godhead. Of course, the flames he subsequently absorbs are also a type of power of the Godhead. Pig King, our battle is not over yet, why don't you be distracted like this? Ji Shin tilted his head and poked his head out from behind the black stone wall, his pale white eyes full of oppression. Falling alive, the obsidian wall that was about to break decomposed and reorganized again, swimming upstream like a swimming dragon, tightly wrapped around the Piglin King's arm, making him unable to move. The Piglin King's reaction was also quick. He clamped his bound arms hard, and the spreading obsidian was quickly controlled. Ji Shinkson laughed. The opponent's size was really too big. The 14 obsidian stones could only wrap around one of the opponent's arms. Otherwise, this blow could directly lock the opponent's whole body. It seems that he will need to prepare more obsidian stones in the future. Just fine. Ha ha ha, good guy, I underestimated the enemy, you deserve all my strength. The Piglin King put the little penis in his arms back on the throne behind him, and his body began to swell, getting bigger and bigger, and finally had a tendency to reach the ceiling of the castle. Ji Shin broke into a cold sweat and had a bad feeling in his heart. I don't know if it was affected by the aura of the Pig Spirit King, but the system panel unexpectedly popped up automatically. Name: Pig Spirit King. Level: Level 49 Demigod. Properties: Unknown, Undetectable. Abilities: Unknown, Undetectable. Affected by the opponent's aura, the system detection automatically shuts down. Ah, this is gone. Is there any mistake? Ji Zinran was dumbfounded at this time. He didn't expect that the Pig Spirit King, who looked so lazy and dirty, was actually a level 49 demigod. In this world, the difference between humans and gods is actually very simple. Those above level 50 are called gods, and those below level 50 are humans. The promotion from level 1 to level 49 depends on personal efforts. And if you want to break through to level 49, it depends on a person's understanding and talent. If you don't have enough talent and don't encounter any opportunities, you can only stop at the realm of demigods and never become a true god. The Pig Spirit King has reached level 49 at this time and has long been ranked among the demigods. Just now, Ji Shin actually fought 3 moves against a demigod with a mortal body without falling behind. This shows that the Pig Spirit King has really let go. Senior, stop playing around, I know I was wrong. Ji Shin gave in on the spot. Damn. This is nonsense. Originally, the opponent's punch dealt single target damage, but now that the opponent's size has increased, the punch is directly upgraded to group damage. He was only at level 11 and trying to forcefully attack a level 49 demigod was no different than seeking death. The Piglin King didn't really want to kill Ji Shin. After simply showing his strength, his body shrank back to its original size, and the smile on his face became stronger. Ha ha ha, young man, that's great. Not only can you block my attack, but you can also counterattack. Your combat power is really not simple. You will be a great weapon in the future. Ji Xinpi smiled but said, "You, old man, should have told me about your demigod state earlier, and I would definitely not mock you with such a mean tongue, and make myself disgraced in the end." After learning about the demigod strength of the Piglin King, Ji Xin's attitude improved a lot. This battle is not a life and death battle, there is no need to fight to the death. Boy, do you know that the forces in this lower realm are complicated and complicated. How dare I, a little pig spirit king, compete for the title of lord of this lower realm? But since you are from the upper realm and don't understand the rules of the lower realm, I won't punish you. The Piglin King's smile never diminished. Although the words were meant to be accountable to Ji Xin, the underlying meaning was clearly revealed. Translated, if you can speak, just speak more. This pig likes to hear it. Junior, please remember this. Ji Xin was simply an expert in lobbying. He was able to diffuse the Piglin King's intimidation with just a few words and give the other party enough face. At the same time, I also learned a very important news. There is not only one demigod in the lower world, the Piglin King. Piglins are not the only force in the lower realm. Creatures such as withered skeletons and blaze men may also form races. After all, there are so many undead creatures in the lower realm, and the Piglins are definitely not the only ones who can derive spiritual intelligence. It's okay. It's a good thing for young people to exercise more. By the way, I haven't asked you how many times you have stepped on the steps, and you actually fought back and forth with me. The Pig Spirit King sat back on the throne again and hugged Xiao Zong in arms. Ji Xin's face was full of questions. How many times have you stepped on the steps? It's what you call breaking several genetic locks. Piglin King explained. Ji Xin answered honestly. This junior is not talented and has only opened the first level. First level? How is this possible? The Pig Spirit King stood up from his seat, his eyes a little unbelievable. This boy actually fought him for 3 rounds with the first level of strength, and the important thing was that he was not killed by him. He has lived for hundreds of years and met him for the first time today. This kind of talent and strength is really rare in the world, and the Piglin family seems to be doing well by forming an alliance with the other party. If Ji Xin becomes stronger in the future, he might really be able to make the Pig Spirit clan the masters of the lower world. The King of Piglins thought of this and immediately made a decision, and continued, "Listen to my son, you have delicious food in your hands. I don't know if it is true or not." Ji Xin smiled in his heart. This old pig liked to play riddles. The other party asked about the golden carrot, which was a disguised agreement to form an alliance. A dull person would not be able to understand the meaning. He took out a set of golden carrots from his backpack and handed it to the pig spirit sister Xiaoyan beside him, motioning for the other party to present it. But he himself stood still. Without him, too close, too smelly, he couldn't bear it. The King of Piglins took the golden carrot presented by his daughter and observed it carefully. It looked so golden that it was indeed something their piglins liked to eat. What's the name of this food? Golden carrots are made from a food called carrots in the upper world and gold. They taste sweet and delicious, and the satiety they restore is the highest among all foods. Ji Xin didn't hide the carrot recipe, he just told it in full. It's not that he doesn't want to hide it, but that he can't hide it at all. The lower world doesn't lack gold-containing ores, what they lack is just carrots. If he hides the formula, it will only appear that he is not sincere. Besides, his original purpose is not to do business, but to win allies. It's interesting. I didn't expect that gold can be mixed with food and eaten. The King of Piglins looked at the golden carrot in his hand and liked it more and more. He didn't care if it was poisonous and just swallowed it in one bite. Yeah, it's delicious. It's obvious that golden carrots fit every piglin's food requirements. Piglins are in the lower realm. In addition to hunting some pigs for food, they may also pick some mushrooms for a change. The food is extremely simple. In this way, the golden carrots become more precious. Just when everything was going in the direction Ji Xin expected, a loud voice sounded from the back of the hall. Clan leader, why don't you discuss the matter of doing business with foreign tribes with us? Jishin looked back and saw that there were two people, one big and one small. The big one was wearing golden armor and walking like a dragon and a tiger. Although they were not as strong as the Piglin King, they were still quite terrifying. The younger one is about the same age as Jishin and looks like a pig spirit boy. This person is the barbarian general of the Piglin tribe and his apprentice Piglin Xiaocheng. He is the largest slave owner in the hands of the Piglin King and controls an army of millions of barbarians. As soon as the other party entered the hall, he knelt on one knee on the ground and shouted loudly, "The barbarian soldiers have seen the clan leader." When the Piglin King saw the visitor, he laughed and said, "General, barbarian soldiers came just in time. I have something for you to try. I believe you will like it." With that said, he asked Xiaoyan to pass the remaining golden carrot in his hand. The barbarian general first looked at Jishin beside him, his eyes full of hostility, then he took the golden carrot and observed it carefully. After a moment, he saw that there was nothing unusual about the golden carrot in his hand, and immediately turned his attention to Jishin beside him. "You are a foreigner, what kind of conspiracy are you here to fight within our clan this time?" When the barbarian general spoke, his spittle was sprayed everywhere, which made Jishin unconsciously take a step back to avoid it. These piglins seemed to be all the same, but every barbarian soldier was extremely hostile to him. "What is this tree in hell called?" Jishin was smart this time. This barbarian general was big, round, and fat. At first glance, he was no ordinary pig. If the piglin's level is directly linked to its size, the opponent will probably be a powerful character as well. It is wise to turn on the system and explore the details first. When the system was turned on, the barbarian general's information appeared in front of him. Name: Barbarian General. Level: Level 48. Properties: Unknown, undetectable. Abilities: Unknown, undetectable. Affected by the opponent's aura, the system detection automatically shuts down. Jishin was slightly surprised. His guess was indeed correct. The barbarian general was also a strong man who had stepped on the rank 4 times, and his strength was second only to the Pig Spirit King. Although I don't know how many forces there are in the lower realm, with the Piglin King and the barbarian generals controlling the Piglin clan, they do have the arrogance to do so. You, a foreigner, are so arrogant. When the barbarian general saw that Jishin had no intention of answering his question, the anger on his face became more obvious, and he was about to kill Jishin before he saw it. At this time, the Pig Spirit King quickly stopped his behavior and said, "General, please be patient. The other party is here to join the alliance and is not an enemy." The barbarian general obviously did not accept this trick. In his opinion, a young man was completely unqualified to negotiate an alliance with the Piglin clan. The alliance? This young boy, why does he have it? You can't blame him for thinking this way. Jishin is not very strong now, and there is no big force behind him. An alliance with the entire race of piglins is really not good enough. Jishin naturally knows this, but being weak now does not mean that he will remain weak in the future. In the beginning, his purpose in forming an alliance with the piglins was very pure, that is, he wanted to quickly understand the lower realm and find a place to collect information. But now after seeing the high-level combat power of the Piglin King, he changed his mind. Now Jishin and his team have just started, and they still have too little knowledge of the entire world. There will definitely be countless troubles and dangers in the future. Since piglins have demigods, other races will definitely have them too. I have offended the Kingdom of Calamity. If the other party sends a demigod-level figure to capture me, wouldn't it be the end of the world? So if you can get the support of the Piglin clan, you will undoubtedly have a backer. At the very least, you can safely spend the early development time, and have a way to deal with strong demigods. The Pig Spirit King calmly continued to defend Jishin. Just because he caught my 3 punches just now, he is qualified to be a guest of our Pig Spirit clan. After hearing this, the barbarian general's anger decreased, but he still said sourly, "King, there are many people in the lower realm who have received your 3 punches, and I have never seen anyone you lead to the place where you sleep." A place to sleep. Jishin looked around again and realized that this piglin castle did not look like a place to entertain guests. It was too dirty and looked more like a pig's nest. The piglins have a unique way of treating guests. Bringing a person to their sleeping place to discuss matters and to be honest with them is a very high courtesy in their eyes. Those who can enter the clan leader's boudoir are usually the respected old people in the clan and some ignorant juniors. The barbarian general was a little dissatisfied that Ji Shin, a foreigner, could receive such treatment. Okay, let's talk business. The Pig Spirit King forcibly put an end to this topic, asked Ji Shin and the barbarian general to take their seats, and began the alliance between the two races. Since you took the initiative to seek alliance with our clan, then tell us your conditions. Ji Shin took a deep breath and quickly thought about various conditions that would be beneficial to him and what he could give in exchange for the Pig Spirit clan's help. After a long time, he took a deep breath and said, I am willing to pay a tribute of 100 boxes of golden carrots to the pig people every month for 3 consecutive months. In exchange, when I am in trouble, senior, you must help me 3 times. The senior here naturally refers to the demigod Pig Spirit King. A box can hold 27 cells, and each box can hold a set of 64 golden carrots, which equals 172,800 golden carrots in 1 month. This amount of golden carrots has reached a level that the other party cannot refuse. Ji Shin understands that if the other party is willing to protect him, a foreigner, the conditions must be generous. The Pig Spirit King's fat right hand kept groping for his chin, looking at Ji Shin with interest, not knowing what to think about. That's it. The Pig Spirit King closed his eyes, looked serious, and replied pretending to be reluctant. A vein stretched out on Ji Shin's forehead, and he kept complaining in his heart, what do you mean this is it? Your saliva is dripping out. It was obvious that the Pig Spirit King was tempted, but the other party was also very greedy and wanted a lot. Ji Shin had no choice but to grit his teeth and speak again. 200 boxes per month. But you have to provide some gold ingots and gold grains. He has plenty of carrots now, and the only constraint is gold. Upon hearing that the golden carrots had doubled, the Pig Spirit King changed his serious expression and laughed loudly. You know how to spend a lot of money, okay. Since you are so cheerful, we, the Pig Spirit Clan, can't be stingy. We can keep you safe within 3 months, no limit to the number of times. Although this old boy, the Pig Spirit King, is greedy, at least he has a conscience. In the end, he also added weight. Ji Shin can ask him to take action at any time, no limit on the number of times. Overall, it is not a loss. Ji Shin breathed a sigh of relief with a smile on his face. There was no wine here, so he took out a carrot from his backpack and raised it to the Pig Spirit King to express his congratulations. Then congratulations on the success of our alliance. Success. The Pig Spirit King responded by holding up the carrot. Compared to those black-hearted allies who only think about constant demands, the Piglin King is undoubtedly a conscientious person, and Ji Shin is also willing to deal with such people. After all, everything is stated openly. If you can't negotiate now, if you really get into trouble in the future, the other party will definitely raise the price. 3 months. This period is also very particular. It happens to be the end date of the 100 days of shock. Sudden changes are disasters but also opportunities. Ji Shin was able to quickly raise his level through this trial. Although he might not reach the demigod level, it would definitely be no problem to protect himself by reaching level 30 or so. After 3 months, he would come up with other conditions in exchange with the Pig Spirit Clan and ask them to protect Wang Cheng and others. Open black lens bracket ding. The host signs a contract with the Piglin Clan. Host. Pay 1,036,800 golden carrots to receive 3 months of protection from the Pig Spirit Clan. Close black lens bracket. At the same time as the system sounded, the Piglin King raised his eyebrows and looked around, as if he also heard the system's sound. It feels like I have made a contract with something somewhere. It's the power of Godhead again. The player's system can be regarded as a kind of divine power in a way. However, the Piglin King did not care, and he had no intention of breaking the contract. Just when Ji Shin and the Pig Spirit King were having fun over wine radish, a Pig Spirit barbarian soldier hurriedly ran out of the hall and said with a very anxious look, King. Something happened. The Withering King and his juniors came to block the door outside our Crimson Forest. As soon as these words came out, the joyful atmosphere solidified instantly. Blocking the door. How could such a thing happen? How dare they? The barbarian general stared angrily, slapped the case and stood up, shouting loudly, which frightened the barbarian soldiers who came to report. The Wither King, also known as the Wither Skeleton King, is as powerful as the Piglin King and is also a level 49 demigod in the lower realm. Their territory is mainly concentrated in the deep valley of Soul Sand, which borders a large area of the Crimson Forest of Piglins. Some of the boundary lines are even blurry and difficult to distinguish. Therefore, the Piglin clan and the Withered Skeleton clan have been at odds since ancient times, and it is common for them to attack each other and compete for territory. They all wanted to be the lord of the lower realm, but since the two clans were equally powerful, no one could succeed, so they could only think of other ways to suppress one party. Blocking doors is one of the methods. Strong elders bring their own outstanding juniors to stir up trouble on other people's territory. The rule is that only the younger generation can fight, one-on-one, and the elders cannot interfere. The loser has his feet disabled and rolls off the ring to suffer great humiliation. The winner continues to stand in the ring waiting for others to challenge. If no one on the blocked side dares to challenge for a long time, it means that they have given in. The powerful elders will have to bow down to the other side's elders and ask the other side to go back. Now that the King of Withered Skeletons has come in person with his juniors, the only way to do that is for the King of Piglins to bring his juniors to challenge. Just imagine, the leader of one clan bows his head to the leader of another clan. It is a scene that is simply unbearable to watch. In just a short moment, an entire clan can be humiliated. This is how face is lost. The King of Piglins was much calmer than the barbarian generals, and said, "How unbecoming is it to be so reckless? I don't see any guests here." Then he changed his tune and said, "Since they dare to block it, then we will demolish it." After saying that, the Piglin King slowly stood up. The fat all over his body was shrinking and burning at a speed visible to the naked eye. In the blink of an eye, his appearance turned into a fighting pig covered with muscles. Ji Shin was really amazed by this scene. After losing weight, the Pig Spirit King looked a bit like the barbarian general, even more muscular. The Pig Spirit King cleared his throat and roared towards the sky, his voice spreading throughout the Crimson Forest. All the younger members of the Pig Spirit clan are listening. All the pigs under the age of 20 gathered outside the Crimson Forest. Someone came to block the door. The Piglin King's voice was not loud, but it seemed to have some kind of penetrating magic power, reaching everyone's ears. Even the Withered Skeleton King outside the Crimson Forest could hear it clearly. "Which race without eyes dares to block the door of our Pig Spirit clan? It's so boring, huh? You don't have to think twice to know it's those BL*CKM*N. Come on, let's go take a look. I just completed my first level promotion some time ago, and now I'm worried about not having a partner." The Piglin King's voice caused almost the entire Crimson Forest to boil. As long as there were piglins under the age of 20, one by one, they all rushed out of the Crimson Forest. Not long after, the King of Piglins covered in golden armor led a group of piglins to the outside of the Crimson Forest. Standing opposite was the long-awaited King of Withered Skeletons. Ji Shin naturally followed. He had no intention of participating. He only came to watch the excitement. After all, he was not a junior member of the Pig Spirit clan. The Wither King looks very strange. He is as tall as the Piglin King, like a skinny giant, but his arms are extremely long and can even extend to the ground. The most eye-catching thing is the pair of fleshless bone wings on its back, which look domineering just by looking at it. The other party did not come alone. Behind him stood an army of withered skeletons, a dense mass of black people that threatened to engulf the entire Crimson Forest. There are still several three-headed withers floating in the sky, which seem to have third-level strength. There are so many skulls. If you find an opportunity, you have to twist a few more back. Perhaps due to the influence of his profession, when Ji Shin saw the King of Wither, his first reaction was to twist off his head and make him a puppet. A puppet made from the head of the Withered Skeleton King must be powerful. Of course, with his current strength, he still can't beat the Wither King, but he might give it a try in the future. When the Wither King saw the Pig Spirit King coming out, he had a slightly hypocritical smile on his face. "Old pig. Long time no see. Do you still like the gift I prepared for you?" The Piglin King looked at the Crimson Wood arena in front of him and said with a smile, "I like it. Of course I like it. It's rude to come and go without reciprocating. If we, the Pig Spirit Clan, don't beat the crap out of you Junior today, he will be wiped clean." When the two met, they became very explosive and exchanged harsh words. The King of Wither was completely lifeless after being ridiculed like this, which shows that he came prepared today. It's not yet certain who will win and who will lose. Come out, Wu Nian. As soon as he finished speaking, a young man with a cheerful face walked to the stage. The young man is tall and handsome, with long blue hair that is unusually eye-catching. He is dressed in black and looks old school and steady, giving people a great sense of contrast. At this time, both the Piglin clan and Jishin were all stunned in place. The young man who appeared was not a withered skeleton, but a player. Old thief Wither, you must have been confused by your sleep. You actually let a foreigner fight for you. You really want to win, so you don't even need to lose your face. The Pig Spirit King laughed, his face full of sarcasm. The Withering King didn't care and retorted, foreign race. How come you look like a foreign race? Wu Nian, release your withering aura. The young man named Wu Nian did not hesitate when he heard this. The withering aura around him suddenly rose, and an extremely dark and corrosive aura exploded, making his clothes rustle. Immediately afterwards, 11 levels of coercion rushed towards him, even one level higher than Jishin. Look, he has the aura of our Wither clan, so why can't he block the door on our behalf? The Wither King said proudly. One of the major advantages of players' battles is the various professions they have awakened. During the battle, various abilities are unpredictable and difficult to figure out. These can determine the outcome of the game to a certain extent. Shameless. Queen Piglin's teeth were almost broken. He didn't expect that the other party would be so shameless. Jishin stood in the distance, looking at the young man quietly, with a solemn look in his eyes. He could feel that this guy named Wu Nian was very strong. His professional level was probably above a level, and he was a powerful enemy. The aura released by the other party was indeed the aura of withering, but he was just an absolute player like himself, and most likely he had awakened some abilities related to withering. Then another question comes again, why is the other party also in the lower realm? And he is so familiar with the Wither Skeleton King. In this case, then I want to see how strong your wither is. The Pig Spirit King no longer worries about whether the other party is a foreigner. If the Wither King wants to compete, he will accompany him to the end. The Pig Spirit King was neither sad nor happy. He turned to look at the junior pig spirit behind him and said in a cold voice, which of you is willing to go up and knock the other one down? As soon as these words came out, all the younger piglins were ready to move, but no one took the first step. The Wither King is obviously well prepared this time. This player named Wu Nian must have the means to restrain the piglins. Now they urgently need someone to go up and explore the truth. King, I am willing to go up and beat this man down. A muscular pig spirit barbarian volunteered to challenge. Jishin raised his eyebrows slightly and became slightly more interested. There were not many people in this world who dared to be the first to eat crabs. He opened the system and went to explore the pig. Name, Pig Spirit Awang. Level 11, step up once. Properties, unknown, undetectable. Abilities, unknown, undetectable. The system's built-in detection function is not powerful. Even the level 11 piglin barbarians cannot see through the true strength and can only know the most basic level. The other party's age seemed to be 2 years older than Jizinzu's, probably just enough to meet the upper age limit of 20 years old. But this is enough. You can reach level 11 at the age of 20, which is considered an above-average talent among the Piglin clan. The Pig Spirit King turned to the Pig Spirit Awang who asked for a fight and nodded with satisfaction. You are bloody, if you win this battle, I will personally give you a fiefdom. The Pig Spirit Awang was so happy that he immediately knelt down on one knee and shouted loudly, I will definitely live up to the king's order. The Piglin clan's racial hierarchy is based on the enfeoffment system. Being granted a land means an increase in official status and racial prestige. The leader of the clan personally enfeoffs the land, which is also an honor. Opportunities are reserved for those who are prepared, and it was obvious that the Pig Spirit Awang grasped it very well. On the other side, the young man Wu Nian was already standing on the stage with his hands behind his hands. His expression was neither happy nor sad, and he was very indifferent. His coming to block the door this time was also a test for him by the Withering King. Just as Jishin guessed, although he has the aura of Wither in his body, he does not belong to the Wither clan, but has awakened the A-level profession, the Wither Prince. Perhaps due to the influence of his profession, he was not born in the trial land like normal players, but appeared in the territory of the withered skeleton. Withered skeletons are not semi-neutral undead creatures like piglins. Anyone who is a foreigner is an enemy in their eyes, and Wu Nian, a player, is no exception. Fortunately, the King of Wither felt the aura of Wither on his body and did not let anyone kill him. On the contrary, he was appreciated by the Wither King and received a large amount of resource tilt. In just a few days, he broke through the first level gene lock and reached level 11. If he wins this battle, he will officially join the Wither clan and become one of them, and he will have a backer from now on. If he loses this battle, he himself doesn't know where the gears of fate will turn. Wu Nian took a step forward, bowed and said, "Withered Wu Nian, I'm asking for advice." He had no intention of starting a dispute with his clan, he was just fighting for survival, so being polite was a must. A stream of hot air came out of the pig spirit Awang's nostrils, and the expression on his face gradually became crazy. "If you want to hit me, just hit me, don't be so bitchy." The pig spirit Awang is a rough pig, and politeness is worthless in his eyes. The only thing he knows is that as long as he kills the other person, he can gain a title and a promotion. The next moment, the golden giant axe appeared in his hand. He exerted his strength with his arm and struck Wu Nian with a vertical blow, trying to split him into two and achieve a quick victory. Wu Nian did not panic. When he saw the opponent coming, he had to dodge and wait for the opportunity to strike. Bang! The giant axe fell, and the wooden boards on the ring shattered into objects because they could not withstand the huge pressure of the golden axe, floating on the ground. What a speed! The pig spirit Awang was shocked. Seeing that the attack failed, he was not discouraged. He pulled back his legs and used another sweeping attack, which directly occupied most of the entire arena area, leaving Wu Nian with no way to retreat. The giant axe was swung, and Wu Nian became serious. He placed one hand between his eyebrows, and his body began to become illusory. The next moment, the golden axe passed directly through his body without causing any damage. The many piglins watching this scene couldn't help but frown, and secretly curse the Wither King for being too despicable. Wu Nian's dodge skill almost perfectly restrained their piglins' power play. With a smile on his face, the King of Withering spoke to the King of Piglins alone from a distance. "It's so dangerous. This junior from your clan is so strong that he almost touched the corner of our Wu Nian's clothes, ha ha ha." "Old man." The Piglin King tried his best to suppress the anger in his heart and gritted his teeth. "Don't pretend to be here. What kind of virtues do you have? I know best. This kid is just a doll in your hand that can be discarded at any time." The Wither King replied with interest, "How do you say that?" "HMPH. You, the Withering Skeleton Clan, are the most intolerant of foreign races. Today you take this kid in because you just want to use him to slap our clan in the face. After this competition, this kid will have no value to you. No matter you lose or win, this kid will die." The King of Pig Spirits is indeed a mature pig, and he can see through the Wither King's little thoughts at a glance. The King of Withering smiled and did not deny that Wu Nian did have the aura of withering on his body, but after all, he was still a foreigner to them. Moreover, Wu Nian's talent was astonishing. In just a few days, he broke through a genetic lock, which made the King of Wither feel in danger. So Wu Nian, this kid, must die afterwards. The conversation between the two kings did not affect the fight on the other side of the ring. The pig spirit Awang failed to succeed in his continuous attacks, and he was already a little anxious now. If this continued, he would definitely suffer the loss. "You were really good at hiding." The pig spirit Awang put away the heavy axe, and the muscles in his body began to expand, and his body grew bigger. "I can feel your hold back, but there's no need for it. Use your strongest strength to fight me. I just want to save some face for you, I don't mean any harm." Wu Nian explained. The pig spirit Awang puffed out another puff of air from his nose. "No need, in our pig spirit clan, letting go of others in battle is the greatest humiliation to the opponent." Wu Nian sighed. The pig spirit Awang was right, he was indeed waterproof, and his withering illusion perfectly restrained all damage caused by brute force attacks. As long as the pig spirit is not much different in strength, there is no possibility of hurting him. Therefore, the Piglin clan was destined to fail in this blockade from the beginning. Not long after, the pig spirit Awang's muscles had swelled to their peak, in the next battle, please make me convinced that I lose. As you wish. Wu Nian nodded, and his eyes became extremely serious. The pig spirit Awang laughed and shouted loudly. His right fist almost sucked away all the energy in his body. This punch was not only powerful, but also extremely fast and impossible to dodge. There was no emotion in Wu Nian's eyes, and he moved forward without hiding, facing the pig spirit Awang's punch at an extremely fast speed. Ding! The two collided, and time seemed to stand still at this moment. The pig spirit Awang was in a trance, with a little confusion in his eyes. His powerful punch hit the opponent's virtual body without causing any damage. How is this possible? Not good. The pig spirit Awang's pupils shrank suddenly and he quickly reacted. Wu Nian hadn't taken action yet. The next moment, I saw the withering power in Wu Nian's hand condensed, and a palm was printed on his forehead. The surging power of withering quickly spread throughout his body. Tinnitus rang out. When the two figures staggered again, the pig spirit Awang was already lying on the ground, passed out, and his body was still suffering from the withering effect. Wu Nian used only one move to instantly kill Awang, the pig spirit of the same level as himself. Everyone was shocked, especially the piglin side. It was hard to believe that they, who were known for their strength and defense, could not block Wu Nian's attack. Ji Xin narrowed his eyes and had some vague guesses in his mind. Wu Nian killed the pig spirit Awang with one blow not because of his poor defense, but because he found the right position. No matter how much flesh you have on your belly, it can't stop the attack on your forehead. Wu Nian's blow hit the pig spirit Awang directly between his eyebrows. Without any defense, the damage was fully dealt. Moreover, Wu Nian's attack also had a withering effect. Wu Nian didn't take the life of the pig spirit Awang, which was considered merciful. Seeing that the piglin side was defeated, the wither side quickly cheered. Well done, Wu Nian, kill these stinky pigs and let them show off their flesh and blood all day long. Ha ha ha, little piggies, why don't you go home and nurse? You lost in just one move. I think you don't need to be called the Pig Spirit Clan anymore. You should change your name to the Dead Pig Clan. The hatred between the withered skeletons and the piglins is not only a legacy of feud, but also a conflict of ideas. The Wither clan believes that flesh and blood is just a burden, and that pursuing the ultimate power of Wither is the only way to become powerful, so they abandon their flesh and blood, leaving only a black skeleton. The piglins are just the opposite. They are proud of their fatness and beauty in their muscles. They pursue ultimate strength and look down on skeletons without flesh and blood. The Pig Spirit King looked ugly. He waved his hand and asked people to carry the pig spirit Awang down for treatment to remove the power of withering from his body. He sent a message to the Wither King from afar. Do you think letting a player use the power of Wither to defeat us really proves that our brute force is not as good as your power of Wither? The Wither King waved his hand indifferently, and took the opportunity to mock and said, Piglin King, our two races have had different views on the pursuit of power since ancient times. Nowadays, among peers and levels, the power of withering is superior. You have to admit this. Ha ha ha. The Pig Spirit King's face became more and more gloomy. He knew very well that the strength of Pig Spirit Awang was not bad. The reason why Wu Nian was able to win with one strike was ultimately due to the mysterious and unpredictable power of the Godhead. The Wither King must have calculated that Wu Nian's divine power would just restrain the power system of their Pig Spirit clan. Then he blocked the door and prepared to pick him up and humiliate him. The key is that Wu Nian uses the power of withering. It's hard for the Pig Spirit King to say anything, so he can only swallow this loss in his stomach. The barbarian general couldn't stand it any longer, and quickly came to the Pig Spirit King and said, King, let my apprentice Xiaocheng come up. You can't really kneel down to this old man. King, I am willing to risk my life to fight for my race. Pig Spirit Xiaocheng knelt on one knee and shouted loudly, hoping that the Pig Spirit King would give him a chance. The Pig Spirit Xiaocheng was accepted by the barbarian general as his direct disciple because of his extraordinary talent since childhood. Now at such a young age, his level has already reached level 16. The Pig Spirit King shook his head helplessly. If he didn't know Wu Nian's ability, he might actually ask Xiaocheng to compete. It's useless. Although Xiaocheng is very strong, Wu Nian's ability is very weird. A junior who hasn't completed the second step cannot defeat him. Then what should we do? Don't you really have to kneel down to this old man? You must not. The barbarian general paced back and forth anxiously. As a being close to a demigod, he could naturally see that Xiaocheng was no match for Wu Nian. Kneel down for this old man. A hint of contempt flashed in the Pig Spirit King's eyes, and as for us, haven't we made a new ally? Let him come. That's right. Why didn't I think that this withering old thief asked for foreign aid, and we also have foreign aid? The barbarian general heard this and suddenly became enlightened. But what if he doesn't agree? A vein stretched out on the Piglin King's forehead. His barbarian general was good at everything, but he was not very smart. If the other party doesn't agree, you won't impose conditions. Just say that there is no need to give away the golden carrot. If we win this battle, our conditions will remain unchanged. No need. Carrots will be given to you. We are allies, this little favor is nothing. Ji Shin's voice sounded, and while everyone was still watching the game attentively, he had already quietly touched the Pig Spirit King's back. In fact, when he saw Wu Nian using illusory skills similar to avoiding attacks, he had already thought that the Pig Spirit King would beg him to play. Because the Pig Spirit cultivates brute force and is naturally restrained by Wu Nian, with the second level of genetic lock, the Pig Spirit cannot be used by anyone. When the barbarian general saw that the visitor was Ji Shin, his attitude completely changed from before. Ally, you really are a good ally. It was my attitude that was wrong at the beginning, so I punished myself with 3 carrots. With that said, the barbarian general swallowed 3 radishes in front of everyone. This left Ji Shingen on the side speechless. As a general of a clan, you should be more steady. Little things, small things. Ji Shin showed a simple smile on his face, just remember how good I am in the future. As soon as these words came out, the barbarian general was almost moved to tears. Thinking that he had made things difficult for the other party at the beginning, but now the other party came to help them regardless of the past grudges, his current mood could no longer be described as regretful. The Pig Spirit King curled his lips, his face full of reluctance. The barbarian general's brain was not working well, but his brain was still bright. Free things in the world are the most expensive. Now that Ji Shin has given a favor, he will have to repay it tenfold in the future. This guy has a bad mind. Ji Shin glanced at the Pig Spirit King and understood that the other party had seen through his thoughts, but he couldn't help but disagree at this time. There is actually another reason why he wants to compete in the ring. It would be a pity not to join his team with Wu Nian's high-quality fighting ability. If you can abduct the other party, and, please go back, then this trip to the lower world will be considered a worthwhile trip. The Pig Spirit King had to admit that the Wither King had trained Wu Nian really well. During the battle, Wu Nian's extraordinary calmness was truly commendable, and Ah Wang, the Pig Spirit, deserved to lose. If Ji Shin was not here today, perhaps King Wither's little idea would have succeeded. But fate plays tricks on people, and the piglins can invite another more powerful player. The Pig Spirit King sighed and said to Ji Shin, I am not an unreasonable pig. What you did today is not a small favor. I will return this favor in the future. Of course, if you win today, you can also enjoy the reward promised to the Pig Spirit Ah Wang. Face is a thing in a race. The higher the position, the more they care about it. From Ji Shin's point of view, this is indeed a piece of cake. But from the perspective of the entire Piglin clan, his help was not small at all. When the barbarian general heard that his king wanted to grant land to foreigners, he instinctively wanted to say something, but he immediately stopped. He thought that Ji Shin was so willing to help today. The Pig Spirit clan really shouldn't be stingy. Thank you so much to the Pig Spirit King. Ji Shin didn't care. If the other party was willing to give it to him, he would take it. Anyway, the benefits were not too much and the favor was given. Because of their special location, their conversation did not attract anyone else's attention, and no one noticed Ji Shin's presence from beginning to end. Ji Shin originally wanted to take the challenge directly on stage, but after thinking about it carefully, he found that this was not enough and the benefits were not maximized. So he made another big circle and ran to the back of the crowd of piglins. Why is he running behind us juniors? The barbarian general scratched his head, with some doubts in his eyes. In his opinion, Ji Shin's behavior was completely unnecessary and unnecessary. The Piglin King glanced at the barbarian general who couldn't think of anything else, and shook his head helplessly. This move may seem insignificant, but it actually has a great purpose. The most important thing for the alliance between the two clans is the hearts of the people. Ji Xin wants to take the stage to challenge Wu Nian for the Pig Spirit clan. This is to win the hearts of the people. It's not enough to win people's hearts. Ji Xin also wants to make all the Piglin Juniors remember his face. This will be his pass when he comes to the lower world in the future. I don't know whether it is a blessing or a curse for the Pig Spirit clan to cooperate with people like Ji Xin. The Pig Spirit King thinks he is quite smart, but this is based on hundreds of years of training. Ji Xin, a kid who is less than 20 years old this year, has such an extraordinary mind, which can't help but scare him. The soldiers on the withering side saw that no one from the other side was coming, so they taunted. The pig spirits don't dare to fight, they are too scared, ha ha ha. There is no one left in the Pig Spirit clan after all. Our Wu Nian only fought once, but it scared you so much that you dare not go up to the stage to fight. I advise you to admit defeat as soon as possible. Let King Piglin kowtow to my lord and ask my lord to go back. All these words reached the ears of the Pig Spirit Juniors, making them all blush with shame and anger. There were several pigs with bad tempers who raised their golden axes and were about to attack Wu Nian, but they were all stopped. Without the consent of the Pig Spirit King, they could not go on stage. What's more, if you go up there, you'll just give away someone's head and it won't change anything. Who said there is no one left on the Piglin side? Ji Xin's violent shout was like a thunder, quickly suppressing the noisy shouts. The Piglin Juniors and the Wither Juniors all had question marks on their faces, especially the Piglins. They didn't know that a foreigner had mixed into their tribe. Ji Xin held his head high and held his chest high, and the pig spirit slowly made way for him. Whose child is this pig? It's so ugly, snore. I don't know, he does look a bit ugly. Wait, this doesn't seem to be from our tribe, this is a foreign tribe. Finally, some of the piglins reacted, and their eyes immediately became alert. Some of the piglin barbarians raised their axes and prepared to chop Ji Xin alive. Hey, you don't want your life. This foreigner has the aura of our king on him, and he is obviously a helper invited by the king. A pig spirit quickly held down the barbarian who picked up the axe next to him. The barbarian soldier who wanted to attack came to his senses after realizing it and rubbed his nose. It seems to be true. Ji Xin didn't care what the piglins were saying. It didn't matter whether he was ugly or not. When he saw his face in the future, just remember to give way. Those dead pigs actually have foreign helpers. Now something serious is going to happen. Don't be afraid, Wu Nian's ability is one of the best among players, and you won't necessarily lose if you face off against him. That's right, I see that this player's aura is a bit weaker than Wu Nian's. When the Withering clan saw someone coming from the pig spirit, their arrogance became much smaller, and they all secretly observed Ji Xin. Ji Xin is only at level 10 now, which is indeed one level lower than Wu Nian. But this does not mean that Wu Nian's talent is stronger than Ji Xin's. Wu Nian is the key training target of the Wither King. He is either upgrading or on the way to upgrading every day, and he is fed all kinds of monsters. And Ji Xin had a lot of things to do in the upper realm, and his level was just a few monsters blocking the way, and he didn't deliberately level up. When the Wither King saw a player coming out of the Pig Spirit Juniors, his eyes immediately became solemn. He has been fighting the Pig Spirit King for hundreds of years, and he already knows the basics. If he sends a foreigner to fight at this time, he may be at his wit's end and want to struggle for the last time. Either it is a sure shot and a trump card. Wu Nian, fight quickly and never hold back. There is something wrong with this person. The Withering King can't control so much. No matter what the situation is, Wu Nian must win this battle, otherwise all his efforts will be in vain. Don't worry, King, I will do my best. Wu Nian nodded, his eyes becoming serious. When he saw his compatriots, he was still a little happy in his heart, but due to his current position, he was quickly suppressed. He can't lose this battle. Ji Xin still wore his signature dazzling smile, which made others look harmless at a glance. Ji Xin, please enlighten me. Falling alive, a circle of flames quickly ignited around the ring. The flame seemed to be spiritual, burning only at the edge of the ring and had no intention of spreading. Wu Nian was shocked and couldn't help but take a step back. In fact, his withering illusion is not as invincible as he showed in the last battle. He can only blur his body to avoid physical attacks. Some fire damage or potion damage can still kill him easily. In other words, the fire attack Tien defeated his withering illusion. Ji Shin's eyes were so venomous that he naturally guessed Wu Nian's abilities. The flames surrounding the ring were a threat to the opponent. I don't like beating around the bush, so I'll just say it directly. After I defeat you, come with me. Wu Nian frowned, a little confused as to what Ji Shin wanted to express, but he still thought about it carefully and said, "The King of Wither has been kind to me, but I cannot obey his orders. If I can defeat you in this battle, I can officially join the Wither clan and become one of them." Don't be stupid. People who are not of my race will have different hearts. You have heard this sentence, right? No matter you win or lose in this competition, you will be killed by the King of Wither. Ji Shin waved his hand, feeling that the other party's idea was a little funny. The withered skeleton was an undead creature, and it was one of the most evil undead. How could Wu Nian, a living being, integrate into them? Even if the awakening ability was related to withering, it was impossible. Wu Nian kept condensing the withering power in his hands, not taking Ji Shin's words to heart at all. In his opinion, the Wither King is the wisest monarch he has ever seen. The other party did not exclude him because of his origin, but instead gave him a lot of resources. This is undoubtedly due to the kindness of reinvention. Ji Shin's words are very much like words of alienation. Nian, you and I are of the same race, so don't say that again. Wu Nian's eyes were cold and he warned word by word. Ji Shin raised his eyebrows. The other party is quite loyal. I like him even more. After waving his hand, the 5 steel puppets in the shadow slowly dispersed, and Wu Nian was surrounded by 5 groups of imperceptible black shadows. This action of his frightened Wu Nian quite a bit. He stepped back 3 steps in a row, watching Ji Shin's every move with vigilant eyes. If the other party made any move, he would immediately dodge. Seeing Wu Nian's nervous look, Ji Shin couldn't help but chuckle. Don't be so serious, okay? We are the same race. I won't kill you. At most, I'll just beat you seriously. Suddenly, the auras of the 5 steel puppets were released at the same time, all pressing on Wu Nian alone, and the sense of oppression was overwhelming. You, what on earth do you want to do? There was cold sweat on Wu Nian's forehead, and his voice was trembling. At this time, he felt that there were at least 6 eyes around him staring at him. If he moved, breaking an arm would be the least serious consequence. Ji Shin's eyes lit up with a faint white light, and there was still a smile on the corner of his mouth. He had a big stick in one hand and sweet dates in the other. This is the way to convince others. Since you don't want to come with me, I can only beat you down and kidnap you. Wu Nian's eyes kept flashing, trying hard to think of a way to break the situation. Although his level is 1 level higher than Ji Shin's, their fighting prowess is not on the same level at all, and can even be said to be crushing. This is the suppression of professional talents. Against SSS, Ji Shin can still suppress him even if he lets Wu Nian advance to level 5 or even completes the 2nd stage of Gene Lock transformation. The enemy is strong and we are weak. Exchange injuries for injuries, and fight quickly. Wu Nian's eyes narrowed, and he thought of the best solution. Ji Shin, on the other hand, seemed to have the ability to read minds. He could see Wu Nian's thoughts at a glance. You know you are invincible, and you want to exchange injuries for injuries. Don't be stupid. Since I'm here, I'm bound to win. By the way, since you defeated the piglin with the power of withering in the last round, how about I defeat you with only brute force this round? Crazy. How do you know I will lose before we fight? Wu Nian couldn't bear it anymore. He knew he had a good personality, but Ji Shin's every word hit home and tore his psychological defenses to shreds. This made him really angry. Using both legs, withstanding the pressure, the body shot out, directly between Ji Shin's eyebrows. Ji Shin didn't make any move, just stood there quietly. Don't look down on others too much. Wu Nian roared and punched Ji Shin in the face. Just when he was about to succeed, a giant steel hand suddenly appeared on the sole of his foot and grabbed Wu Nian's ankle. Want to make a sneak attack? There's no way. Wu Nian had already noticed it, and the Withering Void was activated, and Steel One took advantage of it. Wu Nian sneered in his heart. He felt that as long as Ji Shin didn't use flames to burn him, he was still sure to defeat the opponent. Just when he was proud, the second steel puppet appeared and knocked him away with just one punch. The whole person was like a big windmill, spinning and flying out of the ring. This sudden change stunned everyone, especially the Pig Spirit King and the Wither King. They were all shocked and shouted at the same time, "Iron puppet! No, whose iron puppet has a monster's head on its head?" These two powerful demigods have also seen the iron puppets of the upper world before, but they seem to be a little different from the two under Ji Shin. Puff! Wu Nian spurted out a mouthful of blood. His body was very brittle, and the steel puppet lost nearly a third of his health with one punch. Ji Shin patted steel number 2 beside him and said with great satisfaction, "Sure enough, you are just as I thought. Your virtualization skills cannot avoid the block attack." A cube attack. Wu Nian looked intently and saw that the iron puppet that had knocked him away was holding an obsidian cube in his hand. Just now, the opponent used this block to knock his virtual self away. How is this possible? Cough cough cough. Fear arose in Wu Nian's heart. His weakness was that he didn't even notice it himself. How is this impossible? If you can dodge blocks, then Earth Escape is the real name of your ability. Ha ha ha. The reason why Wu Nian can safely stand on the stage and compete with others is because his virtualization cannot penetrate the block. When Ji Shin explained this, the biggest reaction was from the Piglin Juniors. They never expected that the skill that restrained their brute strength could be cracked so easily. Wonderful. It's so wonderful. This foreigner is so smart. Hulu. Daughter, when you look for male pigs in the future, you must look for smart ones. We won't marry anyone who only has meat but no brains. Hulu. Actually, it's not unacceptable to be ugly. Hulu. Ji Shin's discovery successfully attracted a group of sows, who were all vying to give birth to piglets with him. That's it. I lost because my skills were inferior to others. I am convinced. Wu Nian wiped the blood stains from the corner of his mouth with his sleeve. He didn't expect that the opponent's fighting ability was not only strong, but also his observation ability was so terrifying. In this battle, he lost completely, with no hope of winning at all. Ji Shin didn't want to fight anymore. If he really beat the other party to death, he would still be the one to suffer. Since you lose, then come with me, believe me. This will be the most correct choice in your life. Ji Shin put away the two steel puppets and reached out to pull up Wu Nian, who was lying on the ground. But to his surprise, Wu Nian had no intention of following him. The Wither clan was kind to me before, but now that they are defeated, I feel ashamed of the Wither clan. I should not betray them again, both emotionally and rationally. Thank you for your kindness. Please come back. Wu Nian lowered his head and did not dare to look at Ji Shin. A trace of surprise flashed in Ji Shin's eyes. Under the gaze of everyone, the other party's reaction really made him unable to get off the stage, and his stretched out hand looked particularly embarrassing. You are valuable to me, that's why I'm going to save you. I'm not a kind person. Since you don't believe it, then let's go to the opposite side of the road. After saying that, he ignored Wu Nian. Since the other party was unwilling, there was no reason for him to force him. Just settle down with your destiny, that's fine. Ji Shin exhaled a breath of turbid air and forced down the anger in his eyes. He also has a temper. If he hadn't seen Wu Nian's potential for growth, he wouldn't have wasted so much time. Once the flames started to burn, Wu Nian didn't even have a chance to take action. Now that the truth has been explained and force has been used, the other party is still so stubborn. If he wants to submit again in the future, his status here will be different. Ji Shin took a deep look at Wu Nian, who was lying on the ground. Without saying anything else, he turned around and walked off the stage. At this time, the Piglins and the Wither clan had already been scolding each other, but the Piglins were even more powerful. When the Pig Spirit King saw Ji Shin looking a little disappointed, he smiled and comforted him. Ha ha ha, my good ally, why aren't you happy after winning the battle? Ji Shin glanced at the Pig Spirit King and replied sarcastically, asking even though you know it. There are very few people in the world who can be Ji Shin's confidant, but the Pig Spirit King is definitely one of them. Okay, God is not as good as man. Be happy. Maybe I can help you get that person over when we negotiate later. The Pig Spirit King was still in a good mood. Although he didn't know why Ji Shin had to accept the other party's Wu Nian, it had nothing to do with him. He only knew that the Piglin family won this competition, and they won very beautifully. Ji Shin did not use the godlike ability of fire, which could completely overcome the illusion of withering, but use the brute force that the pig spirit family is best at. Even the king of withering can't say anything wrong. Ji Shin's eyes flashed with a different look, and his voice was a little cold. No, if he wants to be mine now, he has to kneel down and beg me. Okay, I'll listen to you. You are the biggest contributor to this battle. The pig spirit king laughed. He didn't expect that his ally would actually have a bad temper, but it was good, at least it was a bit humane. Ji Shin took a deep breath of fresh air and relaxed his body and mind a little. He had indeed consumed a lot of hunger points in this battle and it was time for him to take a good rest. I'm a little tired, you piglins can handle the rest on your own. After Ji Shin finished speaking, he walked straight towards the Crimson Forest. Seeing this, the pig spirit king quickly asked a few guards around him to escort him. When the pig spirit juniors saw Ji Shin walking over, they all stomped their feet excitedly, their attitudes suddenly changed, and they all came together to get acquainted with Ji Shin. Hero, what's your name? How can I become as smart as you, Hulu? Change your mind. Hero, what was that you just summoned? It's so powerful, Hulu. Peppa Pig. Hero, can you tell me how you become stronger? Hulu. Eat more, sleep more, and ask fewer questions. The pig spirits asked a variety of questions, which made Ji Shin feel a little dizzy. His ears were full of snoring sounds, which made his already bad mood even worse. In the end, thanks to the help of the barbarian generals who dismissed the juniors, Ji Shin was able to escape. This arena is so beautiful. You go to the king's palace to have a rest first. You don't have to worry about the rest. The barbarian general said with a smile on his face. After this battle, Ji Shin's prestige has been greatly improved in the hearts of the piglins, so it is natural that he should be treated as a guest. Thank you, General Barbarian. I'll wait in the castle first. Ji Shin cupped his hands and followed the guards into the Crimson Forest. On the other side, Wu Nian walked down the stage in despair. He walked very slowly, with his head lowered, a little afraid to face the Withering clan. Is this a defeat? What a useless guy. 80% of it is intentional. They are all players, so they might have made some kind of deal. It's so shameless. You took so many resources from my king and turned your elbows outward. You are not worthy of being in our clan. The eyes of the Wither soldiers were full of doubts and dissatisfaction, and some even spit some of the Wither power on Wu Nian as saliva. Wu Nian did not avoid it, he deserved all this. The words of the Wither soldiers became more and more outrageous, and in the end Wu Nian became the sinner of the entire clan and was criticized by thousands of people. He lowered his head and walked through the crowd. Every step he took seemed very heavy. He wanted to refute something, but he couldn't say it because he had indeed lost this battle. And very thorough. No chance of winning. His expression was a little dazed, and he stumbled to the Withering King, and fell to his knees with a plop. King, I lost. But I am really powerless. Wu Nian did not dare to look up at the Wither King, his voice trembling slightly. The Wither King's eyes were indifferent and he kept rubbing his fingers. It was hard to tell whether he was happy or sad. Well, I understand. I can't blame you entirely for this matter. Let's go down first. Yes, thank you, my king, for your understanding. Wu Nian's heart felt warm, and there were tears in his eyes. At this moment, he felt that his decision was worth it. Even if the world abandons him, the Wither King will not. At this moment, the tightness in his chest was gone, and his whole body felt much more relaxed. King, I will definitely work hard to upgrade in the future, and I will definitely live up to your expectations in the future. The Wither King still had a neither salty nor bland tone. Just when Wu Nian was about to get up and leave, a giant skeletal hand wrapped with rich withering power slammed on his back, and the rich withering power passed directly through his body. Ah! Wu Nian looked at the withering power coming out of his body, his eyes full of disbelief. The Withering King did not hold back with his palm, and the demigod-level withering aura was simply not something Wu Nian could contend with. King, why is this? Wu Nian slowly fell to the ground, with all his bones broken, like a dead dog. HMPH. Trash. You have been my pawn to humiliate the Piglin King from the beginning to the end. Do you really think that you can become a member of our clan by relying on your withering aura? It's ridiculous, it's really ridiculous. The huge Wither King picked up the seriously injured Wu Nian with his fingers and threw it down the cliff beside him like a torn sack. There was no trace of sympathy in his expression. The fate of trash is death. Wu Nian felt his falling body, his face was numb, his heart was broken, and the god living in his heart was also broken. At this moment, recalling Ji Shin's divisive words, again, I could only helplessly smile bitterly. Ha, everything he said is true, the clown is actually me. Ha ha. Boom. The sound of heavy objects falling to the ground made everyone on both sides fall into silence. Tisk, tisk, tisk. The pig spirit king in the distance couldn't stop shaking his head when he saw this scene. I said that you, an old man, will throw it away after you use it. Who else will be willing to do things for you in the future? When I handle my own affairs, I shouldn't need you to tell me what to do. The karma in King Wither's eyes suddenly lit up, and he retorted sullenly. The pig spirit king shook his head and laughed. The Wither king was right, he really had nothing to do with it. But it's just because of Ji Shin, who put so much effort into it, but in the end it was all in vain. Seeing that this plan failed, the Wither king turned around and prepared to leave with many wither skeletons. Wait a minute, you can block the door of our pig spirit clan whenever you want. The pig spirit king shouted loudly, causing the army of withered skeletons to tremble. The Wither king gritted his teeth and cursed in his heart. Now that Wu Nian had lost, he had to bear the consequences. What do you want, dead pig? What do you want? The pig spirit king wanted to laugh a little. The rule of blocking the door is that whoever loses kowtows. Now this old man is pretending to be stupid here. Kneel down and kowtow in front of the two clans. As soon as these words came out, a stone stirred up 1,000 waves. The pig spirit clan went crazy, and they all roared with excitement. It was rare for a clan leader to kowtow to the clan leader of another clan. The Wither king looked ugly and said through gritted teeth, "Do you have to make the situation so tense? Why didn't you feel so stiff when you came to block the door?" The pig spirit king showed his sharpness and refused to give the Wither king any chance. Okay, as you wish. The king of Wither gritted his teeth and suddenly tore off one of his skeleton arms, and the majestic power of Wither spurted out. That was the blood he had left. It was impossible to kneel down in front of the two clans. He naturally knew what the pig spirit king wanted. The pig spirit king pretended to be very frightened and trembled, then he smashed his mouth and said, "Why are you so violent? If you don't want to kowtow, just say so." Tisk, 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 it will be very troublesome to restore a demigod-level arm. The king of Wither endured the severe pain and gritted his teeth and said, "If you want to take care of it, don't you just want my arm? I'll give it to you." With that said, the black smoking skeleton arm was thrown to the piglin king. The pig spirit king did not give in. Even though he knew that there was a strong power of withering in his arm, he still held it directly in his hand. There was a stabbing sound, and the powerful withering power continued to corrode the flesh and blood of the piglin king, even exposing the white bones. However, in the blink of an eye, the flesh and blood grew and returned to its original state. Repeat this until all the withering power above is wiped out. A demigod-level arm is a good treasure. It can be used as a weapon with a little refinement. I can leave now. The Wither king stopped the blood from spilling from the wound, with a hint of weakness in his voice. The pig spirit king kept stroking the Wither king's skeletal arm with a smile on his lips. "You have a broken arm but not a broken foot. You can leave if you want. How can I keep you? Wait, I will remember this grudge." The Wither king snorted coldly, turned around and left with an army of millions of skeletons. The pig spirit king is not afraid of threats from the other side. The hatred between the two clans is no longer one or two, and it doesn't hurt to have one more. Come on, let's go back to. The piglin king greeted the junior piglin, who was still shouting excitedly, to return to the Crimson Forest. Suddenly, the pig spirit king seemed to have thought of something, turned his head and looked at the direction where Wu Nian was thrown away, and said to the guard beside him, "You go and rescue Wu Nian from the bottom of the cliff and bring him to my palace." Wu Nian, that player who can use the power of withering. Wang, why did you save him? He must have fallen to death by now. The guard was a little confused. The pig spirit king was a little annoyed and slapped the guard on the back of the head. "Go if you are told. There is so much nonsense. Even if you die, you will pick up all the dropped items for me." Yes, the guard rubbed the back of his head and hurriedly went to do it. On the other side, Jishin had already returned to the Pig Spirit King's palace. All the things that happened today appeared in his mind, and finally he settled on the image of Wu Nian rejecting him. It's true that a dog bites Lu Dongbin and doesn't recognize a good heart. It's just the right thing to die. To be honest, this was the first time since time travel that he felt the frustration of wasted effort. Just when Jishin was still sulking alone, a burst of hearty pig laughter came. It's been a long wait. It's been a long wait. Bring up all the pork. The Piglin King shouted loudly, and a dozen piglins held crimson wooden boards and jingled to set up an oversized wooden table in the center of the palace. A group of subordinates brought all kinds of food up, but looking at it, most of them were still pork and mushrooms. Jishin was not in the mood to eat these things right now. He quickly waved his hand and said, "Forget about the food. I have been away from the upper world for a while, and I am anxious to go back now. The upper realm and the lower realm are not connected. The upper realm is undergoing a sudden change. He is really afraid that those prodigal things will blow up his house. Go back. Why are you in a hurry? At least we have to wait until the land is sealed before leaving." The Pig Spirit King quickly persuaded him to stay, and took Jishin to the table to eat. Jishin had no choice but to sit down and eat something. Seeing that Jishin had stayed, the Pig Spirit King spoke again. "Brother, I have 2 gifts for you today." Brother. Jishin shook his head and laughed, calling him so close probably meant something. Piglin King is so polite. This move is really a trivial effort and insignificant. You who gave me land and gifts, don't you want to return the favor? Hey, don't worry, the 2 gifts I gave you are definitely more valuable than the favor you said. The Pig Spirit King chuckled. In fact, he just didn't want to return it. Jishin was a little helpless. The other party had already said this, so he wanted to see what gift was more important than a favor from a demigod. The Piglin King did not hesitate and immediately took out the severed hand of the Wither King. The severed hand of the withered skeleton, refined demigod level, incomplete, +1. The system beep sounded, and Jishin's expression immediately became serious. This old pig actually folded the Wither King's arm back and turned it into a weapon. "Do you like it?" the Pig Spirit King said with a smile on his face. "I like it. An arm of a powerful demigod is a priceless treasure." Jishin kept stroking this special weapon in his hand, and with a thought, a detailed introduction to the weapon popped up. Name: Wither Claw. Attack: 60 points. Attributes: Curse of Withering. The attack has a withering effect, which cannot be eliminated unless it is taken back voluntarily. The introduction is very simple and crude, just one word: strong. 60 points of attack power can make Jishin almost invincible under the demigod. Ha ha ha. This is the first gift, and I have a second gift to give you. The Pig Spirit King stuffed a piece of pork into his mouth and said while chewing. Jishin's eyes lit up. A gift that could be as famous as the Withering Claw must be extraordinary. The Pig Spirit King was cautious first and did not take it out immediately. "Brother, do you think these 2 gifts from me are worth your favor?" "It's worth it." Jishin barely hesitated and blurted out, not to mention the second gift. Even if it was a wither catch, its value far exceeded his favor. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.